On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk CEDIA's virtual wrap-up, as well as the Lutron connection. Savant's got a new partnership, and ISE is postponed. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 242, Trade Show Whisper.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Vanco International. Learn the technology behind the award-winning EVOIP, AV over IP system.
And by
Just Add Power, the global leader in video over IP solutions with systems that give you easy installation, unmatched scalability, and outstanding performance.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv. And this week, I'm pleased to be joined by two of my good friends. First, we have Bob Archer. He's the senior editor of CE Pro. How you doing, Bob?
Great. Yourself, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic. And we also have, I'm feeling very out of place without the guitars in my office. We have Taft Strickland. He is the dude at Just Add Power. How are you, sir?
I'm excellent. Happy to be here.
Thank you both for joining us. Gentlemen, I want to kick this off just before we jump into a couple of stories with just a quick conversation, quick wrap up. Last week was the virtual CEDIA Expo. It went off. Training started on Tuesday. The exhibits started on Wednesday and Thursday, and they had a lot of really good content out there. A lot of great training classes, a lot of really good virtual exhibits. They kicked off the CEDIA Strong Scholarship Fund, the CE Pro, which Bob, you're a major part of, had their all-star band out. It was very similar to a traditional trade show event, minus the fact that none of us were anywhere. We were all at home. Bob, what was your kind of take your takeaway from the event in general? How did it differ from an in-person show as you covered it for CE Pro?
It differed in a couple of ways. You can't replace product demos or even seeing products in person. You can't replace talking to the manufacturers who develop these products to give you the backstory on why they developed them and what their goals were. Or even, simply interacting with the various industry members that you would get at an in-person event. But given what 2020 is, I thought the event was really good. I mean, there was 110 exhibitors, and everybody had a lot of materials within their virtual booths. There was a lot of interaction as best as could be done via Zoom or chats or whatever. And as you had alluded to, I thought the content in terms of the education was really strong. So overall, we made the best of what we could, given what 2020 has handed us.
Yeah, very good. Taft, I kind of wanted to get your take on this as a company who, we normally see on the show floor. We talk to a lot. You participated in the Infocom virtual event, but didn't participate necessarily in the same way with the CEDIA event. What drove that decision? How do you, as a manufacturer, go about, connecting with your clients virtually, especially if you're not in some of these shows?
Well, and so CEDIA is such a great event for us. I mean, it's more than just a trade show for us. It's a trade show. It's a super fun dinner. It's a concert. I mean, it's a whole week. And leading up to CEDIA, I would wake up in the morning, like my heart racing a little bit, like, what am I supposed to be doing today? And I'm like, oh, that's right, CEDIA. And this is, for me personally, this is the first CEDIA that I haven't been to in 25 years. I'll also fess up that my hair is mostly gray now that you guys know how old I am, kind of, sort of. But anyways, for us, we had a very difficult time with virtual at Infocom. It was really difficult. We came out of that show and flipped around and just pressed a massive virtual experience with our dealers, with our distributors. We put a thing on our website, and you literally can kind of do a virtual one-on-one with us anytime. And that just exploded. It was huge for us. And then I think it just kind of made us virtually exhausted. Sorry for the joke,
Great
but
joke.
we were virtually exhausted, the whole team. And, there's only so much you can do, on Zoom. I know we're on one right now, but, you do it day in, day out, hour after hour after hour, and it's far more exhausting than your feet hurting standing on, double cushioned carpet at a trade show. And we felt like we had done such a fantastic job on everything virtual leading up to it. And I kind of knew it was going to be a little bit difficult on our staff, and we just kind of decided at this point to pull back, apply our dollars towards next year for the booth. And we're looking forward to 2021. And we're still doing a lot of stuff, week in, week out, with the virtual one-on-one things we're doing and the demos and everything else. So it was kind of a difficult decision. But, our previous virtual trade show experience, let's just say that the previous trade show we did virtually, they got about 6 hours of feedback from me on things that didn't go right. And I won't name that previous show, but we were a full day in, not even able to log in earlier this year. And so the fact we live in this huge tech world, and then to see kind of, earlier this year to have a virtual show, and it just really, it stumbled, and the experience my kids are doing with distance learning on Google Meet, I feel like was better than that. So, we're looking forward to 2021. I'm a little bit bummed on not being part of CEDIA Virtual, but it's risk versus reward, and what are you willing to bet your money on? So, there's that.
Yeah, I will say even for myself that it's really tough. I'm on obviously these every week. We record every week. That's pretty normal. I'm on multiple calls a day, just like everybody else. I'm not special in that regard, special in other ways, but not that one. But I know when I tried to initially log in, I had problems. And the hard part is, unless you've been able to schedule your time to deal with all of that, it's very, very challenging to manage that. And when you know that there's on demand as well, other things sometimes take precedent, especially if something's popping off that week that you have to deal with. But all in all, I know it was a fantastic show, and I know that everyone is looking forward to the future events down the road, as hopefully this changes. To kind of stay with this topic a little bit, I want to go to a story that comes to us from CE Pro. Lutron announced during CEDIA Expo that they're going to have a Lutron Connection 2020 virtual events. And yes, I said events, not event, because this is going to be I believe, a 6-week event that's going to run on 5 distinct themes, kicking off on the 25th of September, which is the end of this week, and go through the first week of November. So you're going to have an opportunity to hear some kickoff messages from Lutron execs, outline obviously Lutron's messaging and their vision going forward. A Lutron home is personal. A Lutron home is beautiful, reliable, comfortable, and its beauty as well as full of possibilities. One of the biggest things I see with this, as we just talked about a virtual event that has time constraints. Taft, how does Lutron, for example, and I know you can't speak for Lutron, but how does a company like this, when you look at a company that is very involved in Expo as well, just like you guys normally are, they're also doing their own thing. How do you balance, and I know you kind of alluded to this, how do you balance wanting to premiere things at the events that you normally do, with, hey, those events don't happen the way they normally do now, so we're going to do stuff ourselves separately. How do you balance that?
Well, that's we'll just say it's 2020. It's just it's a crazy year, and with everything that's going on, I can definitely see the folks at Lutron plowing ahead. I mean, I'll jump on a soapbox for just a moment, about Lutron. So they created the category. And, to this day, like, people say all the time, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. All right. I was recently, well, not real recently, early February, I was at a large project, large residential project, and went to walk through and take some photos with an integrator. And it's like a 25,000 square foot house. And this house has everything. The guy's got cameras. He's got video over IP. He's got a game room with a giant video wall. I mean, this is like indoor pool, the whole 9 yards. You know what the guy geeks out about? Pressing a button and his lighting scene's changing. Mm-hmm. And literally seeing, a grown man who's the CEO of a large company press a button, and it's literally like magic. And so I feel like Lutron's done a great job of building that magic and building on it. And I feel like they started the whole category. So it doesn't surprise me for them to take their normal effort and everything that's going on. And I would imagine, just like everybody else's company, travel budgets are way down. We're not buying tons of plane tickets and hotel rooms and rental cars and meals out and all that kind of stuff. And much like us and other companies, I'm assuming they're looking at ways to spend their money and resources and really to keep things, brewing and going. So I think what they're doing on their own, which is a larger scale of what we've done, with our own virtual events, I applaud them. They've always been a leader, and they've always been cool. They'll always be cool. But I really dig what they're doing and breaking out their own and stamping it and making it their own. So
yeah, very good, Bob. My concern with this, and I'm very in tune with what Taft's saying as far as the leadership and the fantastic magic that Lutron can create from lighting control. But my concern when I see this, and understand what I'm saying, but my concern when I see this is, this past week we had obviously Expo, we had the Crestron event they had. Yep, their next event. I had another event from another kind of auxiliary space that my company works in this week. Lutron kicks off. I've got another event towards the end of the week that I've got to be on. We've talked about, Zoom exhaustion, and everyone's talked about that they're on Zoom meetings all day. It's another level when it's exhibits and quote unquote conferences. How do you, as a manufacturer, as an organization, as anyone, how do you manage the burnout from these events? Because we all want to, I want to see what Lutron's doing. I wanted to see what Crestron's doing, what Expo was doing. But I also have to run a business. How do I balance that?
Well, there's no easy answer for that.
That's why I asked you, because you're really smart.
I can make something up and it sounds okay.
Perfect.
No, you have to evaluate your time, where you are with your business, and how these events can benefit your company. I think obviously we're all adapting to this new normal, which is another phrase I think that we're going to be in fatigue of pretty soon. But it's the reality of 2020 that we can't travel, like Taft had noted. And so we have to remain in contact with business partners and clients and everything. And the most convenient method in 2020 are these unified communication platforms. And so if it means bringing education and product training and whatnot via one of these platforms, a manufacturer has to do it. Now it's up to the dealer or the person at the other end to schedule their time accordingly. We all are Zoom fatigued or Zoomed out, but it's a reality of today. I think we're all simply working hard to maintain our heads above water, and hopefully it gets better. We find a cure and we move forward. But at the end of the day, I think at some level this is the new normal. We will be doing these meetings going forward.
I do obviously always appreciate and thank you guys for joining me anytime that we talk about Zoom fatigue on Zoom. The irony of that is never lost.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.